lot of work to do, I'm sure. So in my short drive to Sierra Commons this morning, I was just doing a mental review of this process, and I'll share it with you. At least my perspective is, about 3 weeks ago, I got a call from several community organizers saying that there's a huge gap in what's being addressed in our county, and in particular Western Nevada County, that needs to be addressed. They brought up the idea of the e-commerce and getting the businesses online, and that Sierra Commons would be a great organization to present that. So here we are at the last day of class, which is amazing. Some lessons I've learned is that for me personally, I was like, oh my gosh, triage mode. I'm running a business, it's a nonprofit, which our revenue stream is co-working, and co-working is shut down, just like all of your stores were shut down. So I was in survival mode. And frankly, I feel like I took my eye off the ball a little bit. I wasn't thinking about how to serve my customers right now, but I was trying to think about how to get my business back to normal, or the new normal. And it was a real wake-up call to me to say, no, do what, follow your mission now. That's really important, and everything will work its way out if I just stay on mission. And so that's proven to be really awesome. So what happened? In a couple weeks, we got all of the Rebound Nevada County groups, which you know is an extensive team of people, to put this class out on email, radio, all the radio, it's, newspaper articles. It was a full assault by all of the organizations to get your butts in the seats that they're in right now. And so about 45 businesses signed up, which is fantastic. All of these great presenters came together. I was sporadic and not always as clear as I'd like to be, as far as like, this is the content, this is what's, please can you present on this day? Oops, I told you the wrong day. I mean Thursday, not Wednesday. And but it all came together. The group that you guys have formed is incredible. I can just definitely feel the camaraderie. We have our Facebook group that's still kind of getting up speed. I think that's a good place for us to stay connected after this class, especially while things are starting to open up. A lot of people have signed up for the SBDC one-to-one consulting, and I'm honored that I've got assigned to some of you about, I think, 12 students that I'll be working with on hopefully a regular basis through this process and beyond. There's the Rebound consultant team with like 15 business consultants that are making themselves available to you. The ERC is funding that, which is huge. And the Small Business Development Center is not only funding the one-to-one business consulting, but also this class, and making this class possible. So it's a huge coming together, and it's all about getting your businesses online. And then I see all of you diligently working on your stores. I can tell by the questions you're asking, some of the one-to-one communication. And pretty soon I'm gonna start popping in on your websites fairly regularly to check on your progress. So it's been quite an experience, and I'm really just grateful to all of you for putting in your time and energy into this. And I think we all have, our own personal goals in mind, but also our community goals in mind. And it makes me happy that I've chosen to live where I live and be in this community, and be in community with everyone here. So right on. So today, how it's going to work is hopefully we have the presenters who I've made co-hosts, and presenters, if for some reason you can't participate at the level you want to participate, let me know. We're going to just open it up to questions. There's a one question I see that'll get us rolling. Just feel free to unmute yourself, or you could raise your hand and I could call on you, or if I somehow, we'll just see how that goes. But if you could raise your hand, I'll call on you. You can unmute yourself. And then after you've asked your question, just go ahead and then remute yourself. If you want to do a follow-up, unmute yourself, because it's just, if there's so many open mics, it just gets noisy. So if that works, let's start with Bruce's first question. And he's asking about a workshop on locals pickup, like curbside pickup. Is that something that interests everybody? You could answer in chat, or if you have anything to add.
I was going to plus that, and that would be, we get a group together to create a template that each company can modify, but there's a standardized layout. So we could hire someone who is tech savvy, who gets it done in 1 day instead of 2 weeks, because they know what they're doing and we're trying to learn and figure out how to make it work. And so we all put money in a pot. We all get a template back that we can then somewhat standard form, but still customizable, if you understand where I'm trying to go. Yeah. So that's an idea.
Maybe Corey. Yeah, cool. Corey, maybe you have some insight on that. And Veronica, have you seen any examples of that?
Yes, I actually have seen an example in Sacramento. I'm headquartered in Sacramento. And so early on, when we were asked to stay home, there was somebody in Sacramento who actually developed a quick and dirty app for curbside pickup. So before you reinvent the wheel, you may look at what that looks like and what the process is. And who knows, that person might want to share it with you. So that process already exists. And there is a really highly successful brewery. They also serve food. They use it all the time. So I know that they're working at a really high quality level. So I have not used it because I don't do curbside pickup. I do delivery. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so I'm happy to share that.
Please do. That's great. And Aaron, do you, I always get this mixed up. Is it like Eat Nevada City Grass Valley, or that thing, that website Todd Wahosky and Jesse put together? What is that called?
I'll look it up. I know which one you're talking about. But.
Yeah. So there's a website that was fairly quickly put up for all the restaurants in our area to say who's open, who's not, who's doing curbside, who's not. And so that might be, you know, a good model to look at. And maybe, I think this is, Bruce, a good thing to talk about on the Facebook group, and we can continue that, maybe make a thread on that. That sounds good. Someone's saying about possibly doing a delivery service. Who is that? Christy, doing a delivery service, Nevada County Strong Curbside Pickup. A question specifically asked to Veronica. What do you think about that?
To do a delivery service? You know,
yeah,
like I've worked with
like,
other counties in the past. Like, I think it depends on like how, if this is even feasible, right? Like, what are the distances? Like, what are some of those limitations? And then also, are your customers like open for delivery? Because a lot of times, if they've never done it before, maybe they prefer curbside pickup. I think it's less about the logistics than to figure out if this is feasible and if your customers want that. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of delivery, but I live in the city, right? Like everything, I live in downtown, midtown. I have everything I need within probably 15-minute, 20-minute walk. So delivery is easy and fast. Yeah, but I know like Mendocino County, I've worked with somebody there, and there's not a lot of delivery up there either. People pick up.
I've heard that some restaurants are doing Grubhub and other like services like that here. To address the question about class list and making all the contact information available to everyone, I've really been hesitant on doing that. That's another reason why I just did it on Facebook, just for privacy reasons. If people really want to have a class list, I think I would do this by email and ask everyone if they want to be included or not, because I don't want to just pop out everyone's personal information. But I think it's a good idea, and there's definitely the consultant list, and
yeah, there was already somebody who connected with me on LinkedIn yesterday that's in the class. So if you need to contact me, LinkedIn is the best way. I respond to Messenger within the day. If you email me, it takes a couple of days.
Yeah, thanks for the link, Aaron. Power outages are coming up for sure. Okay, Corey, you want to elaborate on your link?
Yeah, I would just say in terms of pickup, it's definitely possible on whichever platform you select. It's just a matter of selecting the platform and then looking into the resources that are available for that platform.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of articles about delivery service in cities where people promise a big tip and then they deliver and then they don't get the tip because they get this priority. I would think, you know, if you picked up something downtown Grass Valley and they live way out on the ridge, it's going to be really hard for you to make, you know, you'd have to double the price probably of whatever that is to pay for your gas and your time. Could be an hour and a half delivery.
Gotcha. Delivery. Sorry. Yeah, my links are just for mainly for in-store pickup. If someone was gonna for designing a website for in-store pickup. Yeah. As far as delivery, yeah, I think that delivering out to further, you know, I think defining, yeah, what the radius around, you know, the delivery center would be, and I guess, yeah, it would be tough for how spread out Nevada County is.
Right. Okay, so we got our whole class here. We got all the presenters here. I'm wondering what the #1 roadblock is besides time. Time is probably, you know, everyone's working their tail off to get their website up and their e-commerce up. But what's a major roadblock, and how can we help? And you can do that by chat or just unmute yourself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start picking on people. Okay. Leah.
I'll jump in.
Okay. Get ready, Leah.
Okay.
I'll pick on you in a second.
I feel like I'm 10 steps back from everybody. The Arts Council in Sierra County has a website. It's 10 years old. It was designed by one of our board members and it's maintained by a board member. I signed up for Square because I want to do a new website and I want to learn how to do it myself. We have a gallery, we have a theater, they're shut down. And I just got an iPhone. I've never used one before because I haven't really had to. I used to just take photographs and download them and upload them. And so I feel like I'm just going all these different directions. And I don't even know if e-commerce at this point is feasible. I'd be happy if I could get a Join the Arts Council membership button on our website. You know, it's like, anyway, I'm grateful for this class because I feel like there's a lot of resources here. And I'm hoping that maybe I'll be able to tap into some of that. that's it. I don't know if that's a question.
Um,
Thank you.
okay, let's try something. Is this the site? Is this? I think this is a site you're working on. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. And it's totally event driven. And, you know, we have programs and events, and then we have the gallery. And I don't do the website myself. And it was designed in such a way that, and it's on WordPress, which I gather is really difficult. And so I signed up for Square, but I'm at, you know, at the beginning of all this. In the meantime, we can still post things, but I don't know if e-commerce is just a pivot I don't want to take right now. I feel like probably I'm trying to do too much already.
Okay.
Especially after listening to Veronica yesterday.
All right, it's intimidating, but we have. I mean, I don't know how, you know, we have all of these resources at your fingertips to back you up and help you get online. So I'm going to ask our panel, what's the number one thing given what we just heard?
So I think, like in my experience with my client, e-commerce clients through the SBDC, like your priority is usually the biggest hindrance, really, right? Because when you get into this type of business, which, you know, if you listened to me yesterday, I completely believe, and in my experience, it's a completely different business. It's like you're starting a business you've never done before from zero. And when we do this, like we all have started businesses at one point, we have to do the same thing that we do for our first or second or third business, right? You have to figure out like what is the most important things that you need to do right now that gets you the most, right? And you could have short-term and long-term goals. You probably feel like you're already behind.
Yes.
But that should not keep you from moving forward, right? Because I do not believe that the new normal is not going to include digital, right? So no matter at what point you are, I believe that you should come up with a priority list. What makes the most sense for you right now? And that is based on your goals. So I don't know what your business goals are, what you're trying to accomplish short-term and long-term, but based on that, I would come up with like, I'm a minimalist or essentialist or whatever you want to call it, right? There's usually only like 5 things that are going to move you forward right now. And that's what you need to focus on. So, and that's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm happy to help with that. I'm a strategic thinker and strategy is my number one strength. So coming up with those, I can definitely help with if you want to do like a brainstorming session.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to be a little bit more bold, and I know that there is a micro goal of this class, and when you signed up, is to get some e-commerce going. So right here above the COVID, or maybe just below it, is one button that says support Sierra County Arts, donate now. Click, and it goes to PayPal, and you may get donations. I'll say the other day when I was on the Sierra Commons resource page, and I'm like, and there's a donate button. One of your classmates made a very generous donation right then. That was so awesome. You have to ask. So I think getting a button on here is essential. That's my take on it. Some of the questions are piling up, so. And also, yeah, sign up, meet with Veronica, she'll help you.
Yes.
Okay, main stopping point is shipping and measurements information for the Shopify store, where I'm having the printer ship directly to the customer. Weight issues. as far as the product shipping from a third party.
Okay. So, is it always different? Like, is the weight always different? There's nothing standardized, or you don't know what you should be charging or including into your pricing? Is that the
Well,
problem?
Shopify, when I spoke to one of the representatives, they told me that I have to be very careful with the weight in all of those measurements that you put in there, because if you don't do it right, you're basically on the hook to pay the difference.
Sure. Of course.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm having people do the printing, and then instead of shipping it to me and then having me ship it to the customer, they're just going to ship it directly to the customer.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly what packaging they're going to use. So I'm kind of stuck. Like, how do I put these in there? The weights.
And they
the
can't
measurement.
standardize it for you. I would say, I need, if they're fulfilling for you, I would push that to them, right? That's their responsibility to tell you. And it maybe needs to be in a range, because shipping can really pull you under. Like, those costs can pull you under. Then you didn't make anything, right? Like, you don't want that.
Right.
So
Is
they
it
don't
okay to
have
ask for that?
standard ship. Yeah, I would ask for that. It's like, I need to know exactly what are the measurements for the different, I assume those are different products and sizes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I need
And
to know exactly.
Usually.
And I
Like
would,
they'll ship
you could put
every time.
Yeah, I would then say, like, this is how much I'm going to reimburse you, right? Like, put it on them. Like, that shouldn't be, if they're the ones shipping for you, that's their responsibility. They're also a business. It's not something they do, to be nice.
Yeah.
So I would push back, right? Like, this is, you tell me, we'll figure out what the ship cost is. This is how much I charge the customers, and that's how much I reimburse to you.
But it's okay, like, business wise, it's okay to say, hey, I really need to know it's not going to be a maximum of, or more than this is a maximum, and that would be the weight I'd put in.
Yeah, I would say, like, we need to be efficient, right? Like, we're all making money. You're a part, think about them as your business partner, right? Like, if you're successful, they're successful. Yeah, no, I would that's, that's very common. Like, if they're the shipper in any which way, then they need to give you that guidance, right? And, like, if it's not efficient, right? If not efficient, then, figure out with them, like, how can we make this shipping more efficient?
Like, have them standardize the packaging a little bit more.
Yes, exactly.
Because it could come in a box one time.
We're gonna have to move on, I think.
What?
Yeah.
I think we should move on.
Okay.
I think the point is well taken.
Okay, thank you.
Email me, and then we can talk via email a little bit more about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a request for Mike. Mike, would you be willing to do a blurb for the Sierra Arts, their plea that will go along with the donate button that's going to be on their homepage?
Sure. Again, talking about yesterday, the best thing to do is just put it up front and ask.
All right. If you could just spin something up, because I know you're magic. We'll get that part done for that.
Yeah, just contact me. Robert, do they have all our emails and contact info?
It's on the resources page. Mike would be happy to do that.
Let me just say that I don't do our website, and so writing copy isn't really the problem for me. I write a lot. I write grants especially, and that's a whole similar to copy in that you're trying to interest them and get them to do something. But anyway, my problem is technical. I mean, I can't, we have the PayPal, but I'm thinking we should, anyway, it's a technical problem.
Okay, maybe Corey then is the best person.
Yeah, I think Corey, that's why I appreciate the whole format of what's going on here, because I'm going to pick and choose who I actually need to talk to, because I need to learn how to do the website myself is basically what it is.
Awesome.
And
Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. Thank you. So
Thank
this
you.
is major. Juliet is thinking about closing, and we need to figure out if that's the right move or not. You want to share, please? Juliet, you have to unmute yourself or.
Hi, yes. I'm worried about being there for the community when I'm really not sure how I can financially do it.
Okay, explain a little bit what's just a brief, very brief, what your business is.
Yeah, sorry, Osborne Woods Gallery. I'm at the Miners Foundry.
Cool.
We work under the umbrella of the Foundry. So in terms of having that space there, I don't pay rent. What we do is give a portion of our sales to the Foundry. And that is how we pay the rent for the little gallery. So that's it.
Go, Aaron.
I think, and I told this to Juliet, that I think that it's okay to shift your business model, especially if you, thinking of your health needs, need to take some time and not physically be there. That the interest and the desire to support the local artists will still be there. And that's, I think, why this class has been so great, is if you can pivot to more online, it'll put you in a better spot when you can get back into the space safely for your needs, as well as the customers that will maybe not coming in the immediate future. So I would want to give you that pep talk that it's not a sign of failure if you close the brick and mortar, but as long as you hold on to that passion of what it is you want to share and continue to support the artists that you have supported over all of these years, that you can still do that successfully without having to be in a physical space.
I have to thank you so much for you and the other, and Marnie and Suze who asked me about this, because I was a little worried about saying something. And when I did, you guys made me feel instantly better. I don't want to do this, but I think that you're right. If I take a break from the gallery because we don't know if we're going to be able to open, we open next year and we keep everything going online. That's a possibility. And Bruce, I just saw your note about being a co-op. We are a collective. So there are 5 of us who split our time in the gallery. No one's paid a salary. We just do our time there and we show in addition to other people showing. So no one's really, it's a real cooperative collective idea that's going on.
Awesome.
Has the art community been thinking about doing like virtual tours?
Yes, I have right now on the site. We did our first virtual gallery,
Nice.
and it's 16 artists, and it's gotten lots of hits. No sales. That's why I'm here. It's to learn how to sell the art, and that's been a real challenge. But I've got a lot of ideas.
Yeah, so the questions are piling up, so I'm going to just throw my 2 cents and move on. As you probably know, the Cultural Arts District is working on a grant and filling the empty windows up with art. Why not art from your studio? You do have a pretty darn good physical location in downtown Nevada City. You do have some windows. It wouldn't hurt to put some things up on the window so people can see it from the street. Buy here, phone number, website. You're not paying rent.
Great idea.
Doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt to keep things going like that.
Thank you.
Ellen Davis they have an inventory of 23,000 items. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's not to put everything online. You want to share a little bit about what your question is, Ellen?
Yeah, so we want to try and maintain accurate inventory on the web page. and we have an old system, inventory system for the brick and mortar. And it's actually one that's really geared more towards hospital gift shops. And I don't remember the story of how we ended up with this system, but I don't know that it's one that I could like somehow get it to integrate with Shopify, or I don't know other than how to get those two to like connect, other than I just might have to go in and update manually at the end of the day.
Yeah, so that's always a challenge, right? Especially if you don't work with a system that's easily integrated. So I think like the decision that you have to make is like, is e-commerce going to be a major part of your business going forward, which, you know, most likely it will be. And then is this now a time to look at a different inventory system? You know, there are some that, as you all know, there are some that are super complex, and but there are some that are also pretty straightforward. I want to say I had a brick and mortar store that even used Square that had some kind of integration with inventory systems, right? So there are some solutions. If there's somebody on the team here who does, you know, software integrations and things like that, that can, you know, somebody who knows what they're doing, it shouldn't take that person very long to figure out like what some of the options are. And we do this all the time as well. Like in my marketing agency, we have different software and apps talk to each other, and we always select them based on the integration, you know, and if they're continue evolving. So yeah, I mean, with a little help, you should be able to find something that you can switch to, or maybe even make work what you have.
Maybe Corey has some insight on that.
Yeah, if I could just hop in here, would you mind sending me the whatever inventory system you're using, just the link, and I'll go ahead and take a look and see.
Yeah,
and it's
Corey.
I guess you just do it via chat. There's a couple questions relating, one with Laura and your store, and Christy again. It's like, okay, time is an issue. You have a lot of things going on. What do I put on my store? And so, and Laura, with you doing a remodel and you have trying to reopen, like I might say, like close off half your store, and while that's just like take the load off, open up a portion of the store, take out a lot of items, and highlight the best of the best. Or, you know, you do such a great job of doing thematic things like for different holidays, and you do themes for that. And also, if Christy, you've been putting a lot of products online, that, I'm sorry, I got interrupted. I would do less is more. If you can just do the primo products, have them nice, and start there and build up. You don't want to have the store a hot mess and people are like, oh, I don't trust this store, I'm out.
Do you think it's better to do like 8 categories with 2 items, or 3 categories with like 10 items?
Mike, what do you think from a content perspective?
I'm not sure what the items are, but
do you want me to just like, okay, like say like home, so that would be like shower curtains and and linens, and then swimwear, and then like gift items, which could be like lunch bags, wine bags, other stuff like that.
I would find a way to, first of all, you know, one thing you want to do just to keep navigation easy is you don't want to have tons and tons of categories to take you to those category landing pages. But you also don't want to have these massive grids. I keep thinking of Foothill Mercantile and all the little plastic animals, and what that would look like on a category landing page, and how it would send us all screaming. You know, if you, again, look at it, see it visually, see it you know, how you would shop, you know, yourself. If you can keep it like, say, to 4 categories.
Like just open with 4 categories, you mean?
Well, or, you know, I don't know your business that well, but start, you know, you know your best sellers, know what, you know, people ask for, and get them up first. And you can even have a bestseller page, a category.
Okay.
But I would keep your categories clean and simple. I would just, in general, I wouldn't get too detailed on those. Like, you know, you don't want to get into performance swimwear for women. You want to keep it at swimwear.
Okay.
Oh, she's a swimmer.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I just keep it as simple as you can. And if you only have 10 things, you don't really need to bust it out too much.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'm a bit overwhelmed with my own inventory, so
Okay.
yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to make it not terribly overwhelming for a
I would
viewer.
start, and you know, other people can chime in on this. I would start with your cash cows, with your, you know,
Okay.
what
Yeah, completely agree.
Set them up.
Okay. So the top categories, and just list a couple things under those categories.
You know, again, I don't know how huge your inventory is, but if you have 200 shower curtains, I would get lost in your shower curtains.
Okay.
But if you have 20 super sweet shower curtains, some you want to highlight because they look bitchin'. Some you want to highlight because your margin is better on them. And then some you want to highlight because it's the white one that fits most showers. Those are the ones I'd get up there.
Okay. Still a lot to do.
Oh, God, yeah.
Thank you very much.
So I have just a couple things. One, there's been some environmental change here. Are you guys hearing another voice, or is my signal quiet still?
Do you mean like a voice in our head, or?
No, there's a coworker here on the porch who has a very loud voice, and I just want to make sure that that's not interrupting.
Oh no.
This meeting. Eric, do you want to unmute yourself? That's really interesting about the virtual tours. There's some chatter about that. So you want to tell us what you have going on? If you're there, Eric.
Here we go.
Cool.
I've been using virtual tours to document my own work in construction and remodel and design. It's a very incredible package. I've been trying to get realtors used to it, and can't even give it away. But more or less, it creates your virtual interior, which you can place on your web page. It does either a 3D image, so a person can rotate that around and look like they're actually there. And it creates the benefit of them feeling like they're actually there and building that trust. It takes me about less than an hour or two, and the turnaround time is within a couple days, ready to post on a web page.
So this is a service that you offer?
Yeah, it's I haven't been approached in this way, but it does a system of using infrared and photo sensors and laser point systems to create a three-dimensional image. So it's got about 99%, 9.99% accuracy, but I use that for my measuring. For a shop or for your business, it allows a person to go through as if they were there. So they pick a point on a map,
cool.
And then it carries them there. Then they can spin around like they're actually walking down the aisles, or they can walk out. So it's just about as good as being there.
Is there a lot of Zoom? Could you, like, for example, if it was at a store with a lot of little things on the shelf, could you zoom in and say, I want to buy that?
Yes,
animal?
yes, pretty good, pretty good. It's much better for being able to pick up grain and details, but not that little tiny plastic animal that you get from China. But a person could see clothes, a person could see furniture, a person can see very high resolution. So it makes them comfortable. It's used in real estate so a person can actually see and do a tour of a home.
And what's been your pushback from real estate agents, Eric? What's their objection to using that?
Real estate agents are some of the most cheapest carbon-based life forms in the universe.
Wow.
Sorry.
We do
an iPhone is the highest level of technology that they can muster.
Yeah.
But
well, Allison in our group here is a real estate photographer, so I'm sure she can attest to your statement there.
Yes, Allison, I've done that before, and I no longer do it for the very same reason.
So Corey, you found something of a kind of a integration between Square and Shopify?
But if I can just add one thing, I'd love to be able to offer it to people who have that need. So just shoot me an email or shoot me a phone call.
Okay, and just for clarity, is there, you just price negotiable, you're volunteering, what's just to set expectations?
I'm mostly just volunteering.
Wow, that's huge, man. That's really awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, we want to get that edge for people.
That's so.
We'll talk about that on Monday. Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
I'm going to unmute myself.
Cool.
I'm going to mute myself. Bye.
Corey, you want to talk about that integration?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It was just so Zapier is basically a platform that allows you to connect one platform to another platform. And so when something happens in one platform, it can basically send that data. It can do something in another platform, or transmit the data however you need it. And so that might be a solution in terms of connecting not just Shopify and Square, but other platforms depending on whatever you use. If you're using maybe Shopify and a different inventory system, it might be worth looking into.
What I have heard from bookkeepers is that there's inventory management, but then there's the reporting of the online sales. And then if you have a brick and mortar, there's the reporting of that. And then if you had a point of sale system where it tracks all of it together and helps the bookkeeper sort out your sales is highly beneficial. Does anyone have any insight on that?
Screen again.
What's that? Yahweh?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, okay. Let's keep the questions rolling. We have, so some people are talking about hiring, which is not a bad idea if you just don't have the time and you're out of your element in this. I think it's always best when I hire someone, I like to at least have as much knowledge as I can without being expert at whatever task that is, so I can make informed decisions like, is this person doing a good job or not?
Right.
But we're in a time crunch here. One route you could take is, number one, be really clear, be clear on what you're trying to get accomplished. there is the list of consultants that will work for free, so for a limited time. So it may be worth your time to get a free consultation and see where that goes, because a lot of the bumps in the road of hiring a consultant, especially on a technology kind of thing, is like, is this a good fit or not? So this whole program is affording you a couple hours of interface with the consultant to see if they're a good fit or not. So why not? You know, what do you have to lose? You have 2 hours to lose. And I'm sure you'll learn something in that 2-hour period. So that would be a really great route. There's our, you know, besides our list of consultants, I've said this many times, like, go to a website that you like. And in this case, it could be a local website. And then call that business. Who did your website? It really is a good way to get good leads on who's out there and who's available. I often make references, referrals, and it's like, yes, this person is great. They're hard to get a hold of, or give them, you know, here's some intricacies about how their working style is. And that's really great, because sometimes you're like, how come they're not answering my email? Well, they don't answer emails, they answer texts. And then you text them and boom, they just respond right away. You're like, you know, so that little bit could save you a week of time and frustration. So the other part is set a budget. Here's my goal, here's my budget, here's my timeline. How am I going to get that done? And that helps the developer or helps the consultant figure out if they can serve you or not.
Can I add to this, Robert?
Please.
So web developers and web designers usually leave their signature on websites that they develop. So at the bottom of each page, there should be a link. So if you like a website and you would like that developer to work with you, there should be a link to actually their website. So that's common. It's very rare that you don't see who actually designed the website, unless they did it themselves, right? So I think, you know, I work a lot with clients and even SBDC clients with third parties. Because like just what Robert said, you know, if you almost have the knowledge you have to have the knowledge to talk the same language. That is for my clients, like the biggest challenge, that what the developer says or what, you know, the SEO company says or what they're saying and what my client knows, they're never talking the same language. So they might actually not be talking about the same thing. So if you have somebody who can, if you feel out of your comfort zone and you need somebody to help talk the same language, I'm sure there's somebody on this panel who can. One of my biggest, one of my biggest pet peeves are, like, if you work with a consultant, with a web designer, with an SEO company, somebody who's running paid ads, whoever that is, it's all about transparency. They should be able to give you weekly updates, monthly reports, and not just a jumble of stats based on your goals. Just like Robert said, like, talk about like what the scope is. They should be able to show you what they have actually done to get to your goal. I've worked with clients where there's like, yeah, look at the reports I'm always getting. There's so much information, it's really cool. But none of that information actually told us anything, right? So anybody that you work with should be able to show you, it's like, you don't want to see a million data points. You want to see the data points that actually mean something to you and your goal. And they should be able to do that, because otherwise they are lost in the data. So that's my, that's my 5 cents.
Thank you. So Paul has a question. Oh, did anyone have something to add to that? Yeah, Aaron?
I think that I'll understand why everyone is getting so overwhelmed by it. And then for me, listening to all these questions, I would just put out there that maybe go back to my presentation on the why, and that maybe that'll help you come up with the 5 very clear, simplified things, and that you don't have to do everything. Just remember, why did you open this business? What service are you providing? And that if you can answer that question, that'll maybe help you come up with a more concrete plan as to how to move forward. I recognize that we all want to do everything immediately, but that's probably not achievable, and you don't want to do it poorly. So maybe just think about the why and help you use that to help come up with a strategy and a timeline and a realistic expectation.
Cool. Adam, someone has a question about organic clicks and how to get more of them. You want to address that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Paul, I had a couple questions first, if you want to unmute yourself there. So first of all, tell me about your site, and are you talking about interest in clicks on a social media site, or are we talking about a website?
That would be both. I'm working a lot on Instagram. It's really takes a long time. It seems like to build followers up there. Get likes, but for people to follow you, that's a different story. So that seems like a time game where I was looking at my analytics on my Squarespace yesterday, and I'd say the amount of people come. I don't have too many abandoned carts, that kind of stuff, but just it's a new site, so getting the word out there. Also, you talked about SEOs, and search engine optimization, a little bit the other day. So just kind of like how obviously we need to find keywords and things like that that aren't being used as much, so that we can top the searches and things like that. But just getting interest in general out there, because one of my biggest pipelines for pushing people for online sales and things is live shows, getting out there, speaking to people, kind of pumping it up that way. I've done some live Facebook live and Instagram live. I've done like some live shows there. It piques some interest as well. So it seems to me like what's been working for me is what always works, and that's to get in front of people and speak and do my thing.
Yeah. And what is the product, or what is the product you're selling?
I deal in crystals. So.
Right. You're the one that emailed me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have a strategy session, but I'm going to try to make this broad so it kind of applies to anyone selling something. Patience is definitely a part of it. Just knowing that you can only reach so many people with each Facebook Live, with each Instagram Live, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it if it's not getting, the most likes or the most traffic, but keeping that, sort of steady. And then, like I talked about a little bit in my presentation, just having a really clear idea of who your best customers are. Not those that will come to you maybe once or twice, but those that keep coming back to you and talk to their friends about you. So just having that clear in your mind will help you determine where those people are. Are they even on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? And what sort of Facebook groups do they hang out in? So you can join Facebook groups and just, you'll get probably kicked out of the group really quickly if you just say, hey, go to my crystal store, But if you're talking about your passion for your product, why you love it, why it's so exciting, why it's so cool, and then sort of make these relationships. This is called the group method. So you go into a number of groups, you make relationships, you sort of get known in these groups. And then when people are asking about specific products, then you can, refer them, say, hey, I have a store, I'll send you a PM about it, and we can go from there, just being very, subtle about it. But this is one of those things where we're in a new era, and test and find out applies much more than ever. So you're finding out, how much am I getting from an Instagram Live? Is that worth it? How much am I getting from a Facebook Live? Is that worth it? So just determining sort of your time investments and whether your time investments are worth it. And then when you're ready to invest a little money, where is that money going to go the farthest? Where is it going to reach the most people, number one, and then the most potential fans. You know, you're trying to build a fan base as well. So, you know, I also wouldn't put it out of the question in the new era that we're in of just slowly starting an email list, you know, and just keeping up with them on a regular basis and talking about new crystals you've got in, talking about why you like something, telling a story about a sale you made or something like that. People like content. They like to know you. They like to get to know you. And the more trust that you build, the more they'll come back, the more repeat business you'll have. So I saw Heather had a question. Heather, did you want to unmute yourself? And I'm assuming it applies to
Can
what
I
I'm
add
saying.
something, Adam, really quick before
yes,
you go to the next person?
Yeah, of course.
You know, right now on YouTube, this is just an idea. Right now on YouTube, you see a lot of advice, right? Like everybody's looking for, you know, there's a lot of people who are, you know, struggling, suffering. People are looking for advice. There's a lot of spiritual type advice out there, you know? So look for people who are, I would call them like minor influencers. Like for example, on YouTube, because they also upsell other people's you know, products and stuff. Like, so they are a very close-knit community at times. So you might actually find somebody who would help you sell your crystals. So I wouldn't shy away from contacting some of these people. It would have to be, since this is probably pretty personal to you, I assume, it would have to be somebody that you jive with. But there's people out there, you know, you could find somebody who's like, oh my gosh, I really like his YouTube channel, her YouTube channel. Maybe we could do business together. Just an
That's a good idea.
Like influencers are super important.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, thank you.
And I think, Veronica, to piggyback on that as well, Paul, that having a YouTube channel, you know, it might not be one of those things. It's definitely going to be a longer game, but building that content online and just talking about your passion for these products, just like, for example, here's a good example. There's this show on Netflix that probably none of you have heard of. It's called Slobby's World. And it's about this guy who owns a secondhand thrift store in Arizona. And he sells 90s high-end fashion like Gucci and fake Gucci and all these brands that were big in the 90s. And I started watching it and I'm like, I could care less about 90s fashion. Like, I don't care. I don't know why he's so excited about it, but I kept watching it. I watched the entire season. I realized at the end of it, I liked it so much because he was so excited about these silly things. And it's like, Paul, I think even if people are not really that into crystals, but you can like show how passionate you are about them and like how much you like it and why you like working with them, why you sell them, people will tune in just to see your passion for it, you know? So that's just something that I would say to anyone is if you have a passion for your business, just share your passion. Don't worry about the salesmanship of it because, you know, enthusiasm sells itself and passion sells itself. So just getting out there, just putting yourself out there, I think you're not going to go wrong. And as you're doing these different things and trying this and trying that, you sort of listen a little bit and you're like, where am I getting the most interest? Where am I getting the most fans? And then just go a little deeper and a little deeper. And then, you know, after a time, because there's no get rich quick right now. You know what I mean? There's really not, unless you were already set up for it and you're capitalizing on this. There's just not. So I think that we need to all kind of see this as a little bit of a longer rhythm and be trying new things out. But Aaron, I think, had a great tip here in the chat box that start with folks in this class, you know, start with folks in the community and just introduce yourself and explain why, you know, why your products are so cool and why they can support a local man like yourself.
And I don't want to, you know, drive this into the ground, but for me, engaging in Facebook groups, there's an outdoor industry jobs group, and supporting other people, people that are starting out as copywriters. I get a lot of people asking how to bid a job, how to do things. You can become kind of an expert in your field within these groups. And this particular group has generated 2 clients for me in just a year. Just because people will search the group. So yeah, what was the, Adam, you said a, you know, micro influencer or, you know,
You can
Put
become
yourself out
one
there,
for
like Aaron said,
sure.
chat,
You
engage.
can become one.
You probably already are one. You just have to share your influence.
Yeah, and with a field, you know, Paul, it's not like there's a crystal shop on every corner like a Starbucks, you know. So being a micro influencer is a big influencer in a micro field like that. There's no, you know, there's no shame in that. Knowing that you have a niche thing already, just putting yourself out there as an authority in that field is not going to take as long as if you put yourself as an authority in, you know, food or something, because everyone eats food,
right,
but not everyone understands, you know, the power and the appeal of crystals. So yeah.
And in marketing, you know, micro influencers to us, for our clients, are much more beneficial than, you know, larger influencers, because we don't care about telling a story to everybody. We're about telling a focused story to a focused audience. So micro influencers have nothing to do with really micro. It's just based on their following, right? But they are so much more powerful when it comes to marketing.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and Paul, I'm going to respond to your email right after this.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Cool. So if just a reminder, if everyone could, even though we do kind of know each other here, it's the end of the class, just state your business and what you do, so that helps give some context into the answers. So Heather and Corey, I think you two are up. And it is Heather, it's Heather Yarn, but I think it's Heather, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm Heather Yarn Company, and this is my partner. He's helping me with the website, and we had reached out to Corey through email and got a response from Abigail.
Abigail Rourke. Wonderful information. She looked at our site and did a performance scan and gave me a couple suggestions. But those suggestions kind of read like a foreign language. My question is there an online learning source? I want to cut through there's so much out there. Is there one that you would suggest that would get me up to speed on these terms? Remove unused CSS or defer off-screen images. It just sounds like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to jump into this to do it right, then is there some site where I can get up to speed on this?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say when it comes to website performance, it will come down to generally what is good enough and what is the target. You know, what website speed is good enough for your users. What are they expecting? You know, some people are okay with we'll wait for the website to load a little bit longer in, you know, different industries. And so just when it comes to any performance report, you know, first understanding what the goal is and what you're looking to achieve. So with website performance, if maybe it's loading in 5 seconds, you know, maybe you want it to load in 2 seconds. Okay, so what can we do to reduce that from 5 to 2? And then I would say the biggest thing with website speed for any site in general is image optimization, and that just means usually just reducing the size. Like sometimes when I get onto websites, I have to download all the images, you know, run them through and resize them to be smaller, and then upload them again, or use a tool to do that. And so that is something that I would usually recommend. And in terms of CSS and JavaScript and working with that, learning that quickly, it can be a rabbit hole. And most of the time it's not. Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time it isn't too big of an issue. It depends on, you know, how, like I said, your goals. If you're looking to, you know, get the 100% page speed, all the A's on the Google Lighthouse score, there's definitely ways to do it. But even yeah,
Well,
it's,
so what it comes
it's
down
a
to is,
complicated subject, so it's kind of tough to like, yeah, talk about getting into each of these individual things that you can do to optimize your site.
Right.
But
And I do, if I could add something, it's like, if your job, if your role in the company is to become a computer programmer, then yeah, you're going to have to educate yourself on this. But right now you have a punch list of things to do. Reduce image size, take the CSS out, those types of things. If you have some knowledge of that, you can say, okay, Marston, how much would it cost to take care of this? Right now you could say, this page loads in 3 seconds. I want it to load in 1.5 seconds. You hire someone, does it load 1.5 seconds? Awesome, great. I knew the site was slow, now it's fast. That's what I paid for. But, is your time better spent doing marketing or doing something that's within your capacity? And know that if I have to become a programmer, it is going to take me, 3 months to be able to optimize this site properly. Or I pay someone $200 or whatever it is. I know money's tight, so that's not always an option.
Yeah, so I want to add to that. I'm not a web developer or web designer, but I can actually build you a WordPress site in Divi, for example, because I know that theme really well, right? I don't need to be a web developer, but already like starting on your list, if somebody told me, and I have some hands-on experience, I'm in WordPress a lot, delete any unused CSS. I wouldn't even know which CSS is unused, right? Like it's much more complicated than that. Corey, would you agree there? Right? Like you could be deleting something that breaks something else. So I would say like go down the list and see what you can would actually make sense that you could do. Like, resizing images. You can find a free site to resize, resize images and such. But I would not feel comfortable deleting unused CSS in my clients' websites, right? You need somebody to do that. And, a web developer, like if you're on an hourly, they can do this like really quickly. So I would really, from a business standpoint, figure out if somebody can do that for you within a budget. And there's no guarantee. They could be deleting all unused CSS and it's like, oh, that didn't do anything. So, because maybe there wasn't much of it that was holding it back.
Great, good stuff. Let's hear about Nevada City shoe and leather repair. Susie, what issues do you have going on? I'm picking on you. If you're there, you can just unmute yourself. Okay, anyone else want to go? Come on. All right, Carol, go for it. Lisa, there you go.
So I had a few questions. Our business is carving, and mainly what I do is I carve. I could carve anything. So we carve ceramic. I carve ceramic tile, make a mold of it. So we have new things to carve. We manufacture. We press, glaze, fire, do all the marketing, shipping, inventory. So the checklist is a little overwhelming because right now there's all kinds of things I want to carve because of the coronavirus, all the, tiles with masks and things. That's Hank. I really love what Aaron said about being an expert and sort of narrowing your field to be an expert in your process. And that's what we've done. We go to farmers markets, we go to trade shows, like Paul, what he's selling is himself. So I go and I sell myself as, yes, I'm the person who carved all these things. If you want a carving of your dog or your child or your house or whatever, I could do that for you. But right now we're not doing the face-to-face. And that's been, it's been very hard. And also the inventory as far as the website, and I would like to talk with Adam about it, is when we're putting up photos in the website, each tile I could have a pine tree welcome or an oak welcome, but each tile is unique. Each one is a little bit different coloring, a little bit different just because they're all handmade. And if they're handmade and I have 10 tiles that are all Joe's Oaks welcomes, but each one is different, do I put a picture of each one up there? Do I say there's some variance in colors? Or how do we get around that?
I have an idea. What if you put very clearly in the description exactly what you just said, that these are very unique items, and then you'll say something like, I will pick my favorite 3, you pick one, and then show them those 3 exactly. Because like you said, there's slight variations, but at the same time, you're the expert. And so I think they would, if they like the design, they would trust your expertise, but at the same time, you're still giving them that element of choice. It's just not too many choices. So there is kind of a middle ground here. And I also think, think about, this is just one thing I would say based on what you just said about being at trade shows and sort of meeting people face to face, is have something that would tell your story. Maybe get a professional videographer or just, someone you trust to take a nice video, and just have that be sort of your lead magnet, so to speak. And you can put it in ads, you can put it on a website, whatever it is, but it's sort of like, this is my process, this is my story, this is how long I've been doing it. Make it short, engaging, but that's sort of, on your best day, when you're having your best conversation at one of these shows, what are you saying to these people and what are they responding to? So you're just putting that sort of in one encapsulating video, so that the effect of having the conversation in person is still there, and you can use it for a number of different purposes. You can also put a link to it on email if you wanted to go the email route. So there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's a very versatile tool, but I would say that in terms of telling your story and building that trust like you do in person, that video is a good way to go.
100% on this.
How long a video would we, just 1 minute or a couple minutes, or how long?
2 to 3 would probably be your best friend.
Or shorter.
Much longer than that.
Aaron probably has some really good insight on that.
I think that you should go shorter. I think that it's good if you have an opportunity to tell a larger story, great, but your customer base is going to have a really short attention span. And the end goal of these is to get them to go to the website. And so you just want to have teasers. I think the shorter you can go, the better. That would be my 2 cents.
I agree. I write a lot of video scripts, and shorter is way better. It's way more engaging. And it just sounding what you do. Every tile you make, every new design you make is a potential video, is a potential story.
Right. That's a good point.
And I also want to, and that's your farmer, you can create your virtual face-to-face. The other thing I want to just say is I do see a lot of sites that use, these tiles are handmade, there will be variances, and that's part of the romance. That's part of what you offer.
It's not hyper production China. We're the opposite of hyper production.
Yeah.
So
it's awesome that there are variances. So yeah, call that out.
Cool. Mike,
I love Arc'teryx, by the way.
Mike, while you have the stage, Christy has a question if we can move on.
Hi, Mike. You're my copywriting hero. I looked at some of your stuff. So I just have a quick question. So since I do art, I have paintings, and obviously they have titles, but in regards to the other products, like, again, let's say swimwear, what I was wondering is, should I come up with a name for each of the designs because there's like a lot of designs, or should I do just descriptive things? If that doesn't make sense, I can give you an example.
No, that makes sense. Like if you
Okay.
have something with stars, do you want to call it Starry Night?
Exactly. That's a good point because that's one that I have. So I could call this one Starry Night, or I could call it Turquoise Pink Mandala Stars Women's One Piece Swimsuit.
Well, that
or something else.
that, you know, that kind of might get into an SEO land, but I would call it Starry Night.
Really?
And and then on your site, let the image tell the story.
Okay.
Like I said, I think I touched on my dream site would have no words on it. I think that imagery and icons and tell so much of a story, especially if you're buying something, you know, if you're doing a triathlon, you're going to look for a technical swimsuit. And you're going to want to know what it's made of and what, you know, how it reduces drag. But if you're looking for something super cool, there's no better way to show how super cool it is, you know, and by, you know, like art cool, visually cool, than to show it visually.
Okay. Also on that, like say, since I made these designs and I'm putting them on different things, like say this is also on a shower curtain, or it's also on a wine bag, would that pull up more easily if it's under Starry Night? Or does it pull up automatically?
I don't know how, you know, that would depend a lot on how your site's constructed.
Okay. Okay.
You know, what I would do is if somebody's attracted to Starry Night, you know, I would have a bar with other you know, like goes great with the Starry Night shower curtain.
Okay. That's a question I have for somebody when I do my private consulting. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it, Susie. I just have to step out for a second, but Susie, you're up.
Okay, great. Am I on? I'm not too techie. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, we have a shoe repair and leather repair shop over on Argyle Way, and we've had it for many, many years now. So we basically are word of mouth and just people in the community that know us, but we're going to go mobile. So that's kind of a new gig for us. Yeah, so we're going to be doing that June 1st. And so we've had to, you know, reconfigure everything, obviously, in a very short period of time. And so basically our reason for doing so is just trying to, you know, save costs, brick and mortar. We don't need the brick and mortar really, because we're not selling a product, we're just selling a service. And so we've got our equipment, half of the big stuff is at home, and we got that all wired, ready to go. And so what I'm trying to do is we're going to do the mobile in our old truck, and we're going to get a shell that works so my husband can work out of the back of the shell with one of his sewing machines. So we're going to be basically on the same location on Argyle Way, just changing our hours up a bit so that he's not there all day, you know, just taking in items, but being able to go home and repair them and obviously bring them back. So what I was wondering is, you know, I don't know if we need a website particularly. We never had that. We've just been word of mouth, like I said. But now that we're changing things up a bit, we have to let our community know, you know, where we are. So when they don't see the sign on the building, they don't think, oh, gee, they're out of business. We are the only lasting shoe repair here in Nevada County. So that's a good thing. But I went on Facebook. I created a page for Nevada City Shoe Repair and took some short clip videos of Frank doing some repairs, showing people, you know, what he can do, because a lot of people don't know to what extent they, you know, he can do repairs. So that's what we're trying to do, is just widen the you know, knowledge that people can know what we can repair, and yeah, just trying to go on the longevity and reputation we've had here for all these years, as well as the, you know, we are the only one here. Any suggestions for what we could do further would be greatly appreciated.
Well, you absolutely need a website.
Yes. Yes.
And it sounds like you need one more than ever. And you have I'm like drooling here. This is an amazing story to tell. You can make this truck a character, where's the truck now? Or yeah, you need a website, and you can have a lot of fun with this website. This is stuff, I think like Aaron's really great at is storytelling and checking in and, but a service is a product, and you have a range of services within your service, right? I mean, if I need to have an upper repaired or a hiking boot resold or, heel taps put on, you may not be selling online, but you're selling online. You may not have a shopping cart, but you need that online presence. First of all, it gives you legitimacy. But second of all, it's just going to make it, if now that your store's mobile, get yourselves virtual, put yourself everywhere.
Okay, and then
your truck has to look like a shoe. I mean, if you saw the shoe driving down the road, that would be so awesome.
Yeah,
like one of the challenges that you always see with mobile businesses is that people never know where they're at, right? And I think that's a mistake. I completely agree with Mike. You have to have a website. People need to know where you're at, if this is how you're gonna operate, right? And I think that could be super cool, for sure. You definitely need social media, make sure you're listed everywhere, and that people know when you're open. That's the story you need to tell, right? Like, you don't want people to pull up and it's like, oh, I think they're shut down. No, you need to tell everybody that you're open for business, where are you at, what you're doing, what you can or cannot do. And I have a client, they're in the trades, and what they do is out of their truck, they do like the day in the life of, the shoe repair person or whatever, and you could do some cool stuff like all the time. When you get used to it, it becomes second nature. And that's going to help you drive traffic.
Right, I've done some of those videos. So I've got pictures of the shop. I got pictures of all our stuff we've had for the last 35 years there. And so, it's a familiarity. People know that shop because, that's what they've been used to seeing. So we've got our logo, we've got signs. In fact, I told my grandkids yesterday when they came by, because we still have lots of stuff. I was going to say to everybody, I have vintage, storefront counters with glass display cases and so forth that are all for sale. So it all has to leave by next Thursday because we can only take so much with us. But I told my grandkids, I said, we're going to have a pop-up party. And they go, what?
Yeah.
I go, we're going to have a pop-up party right out on the street. The truck's going to be there. I'm going to have a big orange umbrella that I got. We're going to have chairs out there. It's kind of like Lazy Dog. If you guys remember Lazy Dog before they went storefront, you saw the big pink truck and the pink umbrella. You knew he was open for business. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be out there with my orange umbrella. I'll have some something fun to share, community. You can come sit with me and have some tea or something while you get your shoes fixed. So, I said, we're going to make it fun. We want to make it community,
Absolutely.
Inviting.
Yeah, if you're ever in Sacramento, I would love to get my boots fixed. My favorite boots.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we want to make it.
You could there's all kinds of things you could do with that. People, if it takes an hour or something like that, they're hanging out, you could have like, a cornhole game set up out in front that you toss shoes in. You have plenty of opportunities to upsell them while they're waiting, shoelaces or I don't know what else. But
everybody has something they need to be repaired, right? Everybody has something.
Right. And we've got wooden coins that we did 30 years ago. They're wooden coins, and they say $1 off shoe repair. When you talk about a carnival thing, Robert, we could. I have hundreds of them, and Frank said, "Should we throw them out?" I go, "Absolutely not. We're keeping those.
Cool.
We're going to have fun with these. I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll make use of them for speak.
Love the idea. Love it.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, good luck for that with that. And
Yes.
sorry to see you go in some ways. We're neighbors, but I'm glad you're changing things up.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. I said, we're not gone. I don't want them to think we're closed, you know. So the big thing is the sign on top of the building. I know when people go down the road, you look for the sign. So that's why we're trying to get, you know, we got a banner made for the truck. We were going to get a frame like Jernigan's has, you know, that says, hey, Nevada City Shoe Repair is open now. You know, we're just going to try to keep that presence there, because we're going to, the good thing is that our landlord there in that building has been a friend for years. And anyways, he said, no problem. You guys be out in the street right in front of your shop. That's not a problem. So we're going to be in the same location, just a different building, so to speak.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else have something they want to share or get some feedback on? Leah, how are things going with your photos in the Nature Shop web, you know, the online store? You could unmute yourself.
Did I? Sorry.
You almost had it.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I don't like the photos at all. I need to hire a photographer, but I did take a class yesterday on downloading photos from my Royal Robin site. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
So that was cool to be able to import them. I'm not a computer person, so I am going to hire somebody to do my website.
Well, you know, Allison, and our classmate, is on the list. She's a photographer. She does product photography.
Yeah.
So
I've got a long list.
Okay.
Photography. I think I'm going to work with Todd for the website.
Excellent.
And I talked with Jessie yesterday, and she was really helpful. I'm also opening my store, and I'm just so busy. I mean, today I'm open all day, tomorrow all day. I think we're launching. We're going back into business.
Right on.
But I'm excited. There's so many good things. The birding, you know, I found a great video of Vortex binoculars that I sell. The guy talking about binoculars. Some more educational little videos on my site might be fun.
Nice.
So I don't know. Got a lot of ideas. Now I just got to put it all together.
So what's your store? What's your shop?
The Earth Store in Nevada City, a science and nature gift shop.
Okay, sure, I know it. Steal everything you can from your wholesalers.
Yeah, that's.
I know. Yeah, you carry Royal Robins. You know.
Yeah.
Copy that workbook copy or that website copy.
Yeah.
You know, make it yours, but your wholesalers want you to sell stuff. They want sell through, and they will. You know, they should offer a lot of stuff depending on the brand. I know I work for Royal Robin, so I know they've had a lot of turnover lately. They're churning through people right now. But once you find somebody to get a hold of, you know, or I don't know if you work with, you know, maybe even go around your rep if it's an independent rep, and find somebody at the mothership.
Yeah, I have a good relationship with my rep, and everybody's real helpful. Elastic, that's what I took a webinar on yesterday, is how to download images. So,
okay. Yeah, let them do the work for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. Thanks for the update. Heather, were you going to say something? Hunt? Heather Hunt?
I'm not. Well, the thing I'm a little bit wondering about right now is just website platforms. And right now I have a Squarespace site that a friend made me with a trade. So I don't have a huge commitment to it. And I'm wondering, as far as like, I did a consult with Evelyn through you guys. That was awesome. And she and my other friend was talking about WordPress and just more versatility and fewer kind of monthly subscriptions and possibly more growth capacity. And so I'm not going to make that change now before the June 1st deadline. gonna make that deadline. But I'm just
Excellent. I love
wondering,
it.
I'm wondering just sort of from all these minds about websites, I know everyone kind of has their own ideas, but if there is any consensus about, so things I'm thinking about growing, definitely the online store, but also like a membership page. And I guess there's no membership page with Squarespace. You can pay another service to do a membership page, but it's another $25 a month, which isn't a ton of money, but also if there's something integrated through WordPress. So I'd just be curious about people's feedback on that as far as like growth capacity.
So when you say membership, is it membership to chiropractic services? What's in the membership?
This is growing and it's new. It would be like a monthly subscription membership to kind of, and I'm not clear exactly what the offerings will be under that, but just to create kind of a community and a place that I can post things online, not for the greater public, but for, I call them my people, my people that I think will be helpful in their healing and their wholeness.
Cool.
So it'll be like a private forum, but also ways they can
Corey?
communicate, things like that.
Yeah, I can jump in there. That's actually mainly what I focus on is WordPress development, and it powers about 30% of the web, and it's basically an open source platform community that you can install themes and plug themes for design and plugins for functionality, and you can build out e-commerce websites as well as membership websites. You can extend it to do basically anything, including a mobile application. It just depends on how much time you have, what your level of investment is in time and in resources and whatnot. And so for a long-term perspective, I generally recommend using WordPress, but for a tight deadline like this,
Yeah. Well, actually,
If that
the
answers
tight
the
deadline,
question.
I'm totally happy to keep with Squarespace. It does, and I'm totally happy to stay with what I have because it's been virtually free for me. But but I do. This class has given me so many ideas that it's like I also want to start creating. I don't want to build on something that I'm just gonna have to change later, like do a lot of building. So that's exactly what I was wondering. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, and you can export the content from Squarespace and import it into WordPress.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else want to have a go at it? Well, maybe we're going to wind this thing down unless anyone has any other questions. It's been fantastic. It's been a great week. I'm almost sad it's over. I know there's a lot of work to be done still. So with that, we have this team. I'm a SBDC consultant. Veronica's an SBDC consultant. Everyone here has been volunteering to make themselves available to you. You have that resource, the long resource list of the consultants, the Facebook group. I'll be looking into your websites and just checking in, and it's going to be really grand when we have all these e-commerce websites up. The union is interested in this. We can milk this for some marketing. So we have, that in some ways, a lot of eyes are on what we're doing here. At the county level, media, let's not forget Ubinet's offer of, I think it's $2,000 worth of advertising if you make that deadline. So let's do this thing and keep this group together. And just thank you, everybody, so much. If you want to donate to Sierra Commons, we're not going to say no. And really special thanks to all the presenters for giving your time. It's been really excellent. So thank you all very, very much. This recording will be up, and I'll email out the text because there's a lot of juicy stuff in the text chat. You all know where to find me. So thank you very much. And
Thank you, Robert.
See you online and in person.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.